is Loice. I am a communications officer at Minority Women in Action, which is a gender and sexual minorities organization. It's been in existence for over 16 years. I started as a journalist for the Standard Media Group, and then I moved into PR. I think PR is what brought me to communications, and the agenda was to represent lesbian, bisexual, and queer women who are not represented in the general organizing space of sexual and gender minorities. And so MOA, as we call it, was brought in to cover that gap that was there. My passion for advocacy is something that was maybe within me, because I don't think advocacy is something that you can be taught. If you're not passionate about it, then you will not deliver the way it needs to be delivered, because it's very personal and it's very overwhelming sometimes. Within the advocacy space, we have different players, and we find that some players have, more experience in different areas. And for us as a feminist organization, we are always on the lookout for organizations that can impact us and help us to expand. And one of the things we had realized in our organization is that as much as we are a feminist organization, most members, especially in the grassroots, who are not really aware of what feminism looks like, and so they were not even able to advocate for themselves. And so as a comms person, I was challenged to also build capacity for myself, so that even as I do my work, I'm able to pass that knowledge to the rest of the grassroots organizers. In the application, of course, you mention what you think the training will do for you and how you think you will implement whatever you learn within your organization, because of course it's about scaling up. And they told me I had been chosen for the training. I was really thrilled. First of all, I didn't even know much about CRD. I only heard about them. I remember even in our office we have some books from CRD, but I had never interacted with the organization as much until November when we went to Addis. I didn't know what to expect. It was the first time I was attending such a setup of a collection of different activists from different countries across Africa. So when we got to Addis, I think I can say it was a very beautiful experience to see people who organize in South Sudan, who organize in Uganda, South Africa. And I can say all those trainings were very, very impactful to me. But one of the things that stood out for me was understanding feminism from a historical perspective, because I feel like most times when you talk about feminism, it's been watered down from the online conversations for it to look like it's more like a gender war, it's women fighting men. Feminism calls for us to look at the root causes of problems, and that's when they introduced the problem tree. So the problem tree is just it's just a tree, and then from the tree we have fruits, we have the stem or the trunk, and then we have the roots. The roots are the ones that ruin or destroy a tree, and that's why these problems continue persisting, because we're not investing more in addressing the root causes of social justice issues. Feminism Consciousness Pocketbook is a resource that CRD uses to teach feminism consciousness from an individual perspective. I attended the training. You feel like a fire has been lit inside you, where you want to go and share this knowledge, you want more people to know. And the fact that we were under a program called Trainers of Trainers, you are called to be a trainer. And I was wondering how that would look like, but CRD held our hand. And when we came back, a few months later, they reached out and they said, we're going to give you a grant. And the grant is for you to implement what you learned and to also create trainers out of you being a trainer. And so within my organization, I identified a couple of people who I felt like were in positions of power within the organization, and they needed that sort of sensitization to be able to take that knowledge, especially to the grassroots members. It was just a one-day training. I wish we had gotten more money to do a lengthy training. Yeah, so I can say the training has been really, really impactful, and it's a continuous process, of course. Learning is a continuous process, but the organization is definitely feeling the impact of the CRD training. Also, me being a Kenyan and being a Kenyan feminist, sometimes we feel like we're not doing enough or the work that we do is not impactful. But now, even being exposed to other activists across Africa, it's made me very confident in the work that we do, that other people are seeing our work. So like feminists in Ethiopia were telling us how our case studies usually are from Kenya. Like there's especially the feminist movement of ending femicide. The work that you're doing is very, very important. It's very impactful and powerful, and people need to know about it. It's changing lives, even at an individual perspective. My life has been transformed, and I'll just tell you to continue with the work and to share it with us.